This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, trying to get this camera angle right for you today. And man, oh man, they had every chance in this game to win it. They blow the finale against the Marlins, had a chance for the 3-game sweep. Kyle HART, yeah, I know Michael King's on the IR. You bring up Kyle HART, you try to set it up for Pivetta and cease to get those Giants games. And what do? You blow the finale against the Marlins, but the bullpen had the lead and could not hold it. And that was the difference in today's game. Slugfest at Petco, 10-8 the final. Marlins beat the Padres to avoid the sweep and end San Diego's 3-game win streak. Day off tomorrow for the Pods. They start a stretch, 3-game series against the Pirates at Petco. They start a stretch during which they will play 26 games in 27 days, 7 against the Dodgers, 4 against the Giants, I think maybe 7 against the Giants, actually, and then the D-bags as well. So a whole bunch of games against those division teams where we start to see a little separation. And, oh, man, those boards are starting to heat up in those chat rooms and all that stuff, you know, the Reddits especially. When are we going to bring in a left fielder? When are we going to bring in a power hitter? When are we going to bring in a lefty? When are we going to bring in? And Hart's obviously not that lefty. The bullpen with Morejon and Matsui, they've been pretty good. The lefties today, it was Jason Adam who blew this, believe it or not. And then a quick hook from the skip to take him out of the game, and I was a little surprised by that. All kinds of stuff to unpack with this one. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 10-8 the final. All right, real quick, want to thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day with Padres Postcast. For your second one, check out Padres Podcast, Locked On Padres Podcast with Javier Reyes. He's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Javi's back. Tell your friends. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Javi's breaking it down day by day. I'm after the games, and whether you get us here on YouTube, Locked On Padres Podcast channel, whether you get us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you listen to your podcast, and whether you get us on Roku, you're down with OTT. Yeah, you know me. We are free and part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast, 10-8 Marlins. They avoid the sweep at Petco. How did this all transpire? I got the hows, the whys, and everything in between. It's Padres Postcast to the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Yeah, and our photo partner doesn't have enough photos up quickly enough to show you what really happened late in the game in this 10-8 victory for the Marlins. But they are sick and tired, the Padres and the fans at Petco, of seeing this dude. Sanchez, another big day for him today. And, you know, the Padres ripped their ace, Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young Award winner. Let's see. Fernando was thrown out at the plate on a close play. They gave up a run on a wild pitch. Jason Adam hits a guy to lead off an inning, and then this dude makes him pay with the 2-run single. He also homered. Ramirez and Sanchez killed him. By the way, if you're looking for a trade target for a left fielder, Kyle Stowers and Jesus Sanchez fit the bill. Each one. Sanchez more so because he makes way more money, like $3.5 million, I think. But freaking, you want Stowers, the San Diego boy, but he only makes $760K. And I don't think that would happen. But, you know, it really looked like the Padres were going to win this game, and they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory at Petco today. And it just, you know, Jason Adam takes the loss. Just not a good job by him whatsoever. You know, just didn't get it done out of the pen today. Came out to start a second inning after pitching the inning before. And a quick hook from the skip. You know, and it doesn't make sense to me sometimes, and I wonder if you know what it means to find your dreams. So I'm looking at the play-by-play here. And as the game's going on, I'm wondering, because in the top of the 8th inning, Jason Adam comes in. Rather, the top of the 7th. And you know what? He does a good job, but he gave up the wild pitch that scored the run. Sanoja scores the run to make it 7-6 Miami. Sheets hits a 2-run homer to make it 8-7. More on that in a minute. But then when Adams gives up the single, another single, and, you know, just not making it happen, Jason Adam. And, you know, you finally get Stowers to ground out to second, and you don't get any more damage there. Good job by Adam. But then again, when you start the 8th and you hit a guy with a pitch and then there's a fielder's choice and Manny commits an error, I mean, it just didn't go their way. And you're thinking, okay, Adam doesn't have it. Let me bring in Wandy Peralta. And oh, baby, Ramirez singles in 2. And yeah, the double from Wagaman. And there you have it. It's 10-8, the final. But, the Padres had this game won a couple of times and they just couldn't hold those leads. And that's a tough one, 10, 13, and 1 for the Marlins, 8, 9, and 1 for the Padres. So many hits in this series. The Padres rotation and bullpen are not okay. You need a shutdown, lights out lefty, but Adam and Suarez have been struggling, man. Where's Tanner Scott? He's the odd guy out. Why do you let the lefty leave? You know what I mean? I understand it's baseball and they're going to go where they're going to go in some places, in some cases. But, man, the Padres took the early lead, 1-0 in the second. Gave it right back in the top of the third. They score 5 in the bottom of the fourth to make it 6-1. Easy peasy from there, right? Nope. Kyle Hart goes out and gives up a 5 spot in the next half inning. And, not all those runs were charged to him. It was a home run by Lopez. Ramirez and Wagaman score, and that was off Morgan, the homer. But 2 of those runs were charged to Heart Attack, Kyle Hart. And he's been a heart attack, all right. And the bullpen's been a little bit of one lately as well. So they give up they score the 1, give the 1 right back. And that was from the bottom of the second to the top of the third. Then they score 5, bottom of the fourth, give it right back, 5 spot in the top of the fifth. So it's, it's 1-1, then it's 6-6. And then the Marlins score 1 in the 7th, and it's 7-6. And then Sheets comes up in the bottom half and rips a 2-run homer, his 5th in the last week. And you're thinking, all right, man, you got Adam, you got Suarez lined up. Let's go. And Adam just destructs and gives up, the leadoff hit by pitch. They get the fielder's choice, the error. Doesn't help them any. It could have been a double play ball in that situation, but it doesn't help them any. And then when you think about what happened next, you just give up that 3 spot. And what happens there is, Adam didn't get anybody out. He had a tough time in that previous inning in the 7th. And then, in the 8th, obviously, it just kind of came unglued for him. And then Peralta comes in the game. And then, just what are you going to do? He gives up all those runs and some charge to Adam, but just not a good night for him. Between the Suarez blown save against, I say Anaheim, they're not Los Angeles, the Angels. Come on. They're not Los Angeles. They can make as many movies about them as they want. Angels in the outfield. They're not Los Angeles. They're the homeless, identityless, vagabond team. But, you blow leads so many times in this game, back and forth and back. And, just weren't hitting. And now you score 8 runs and it's not enough. How many games you lose? 1-0, 2-1, 4-3. And now, that show, 8 is enough. Used to be a TV show. It wasn't enough. It just definitely wasn't enough. And you win 2 out of 3. Meatloaf says it ain't bad, but it ain't good enough against a team like the Marlins. Not when you have a lead the way that they did. And get the Pirates coming in. You're not going to see Skeens. Are you going to make a move? Are you going to get any of these players who are out there for the taking, a Sanchez or a Stowers from the Marlins? I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? There are some guys out there, but I would like to see one of those. I'd like to see Sanchez just stay right here, wouldn't you? I don't know about that, but still, you're a game ahead of San Fran. They lost today, and you're 2 behind the Dodgers. So, all is not lost, but just a tough one today for the Padres to lose this game. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast in the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Still to come. Turning Point still to come. Star of the game still to come. Look ahead to Friday. 26 games in 27 days coming up in the big boys from the division. Going to see a bunch of the Giants. Going to see a lot of the Dodgers finally. And the Diamondbacks for the first time. I'm always going to say Diamondbacks so I can say D-Bags later, right? But you had a run score on a wild pitch. You had a hit batsman come around to score. You had error by Machado, which never happens. You had Fernando thrown out at home. Took a perfect throw to get him. You had Bogarts throwing out a runner at home on a perfect relay. It was Ramirez of the Marlins in the 8th. Could have been worse. So back and forth and back they went in this series. They needed to close this out. Come on, man. You've been struggling so much offensively. You go out and you get them 8 runs, and the pitching staff doesn't let it hold. And that's just demoralizing. For all the times, you know what I mean? For all those times when you didn't get enough hits and score enough runs for us, we're going to blow one for you when you do. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. You know what I mean? Just rough. But by the way, smash that subscribe button. Be a part of the family. We are on to Pittsburgh. No doubt about that. And the Pirates are coming into town, and that's 3 without Skeens. You should sweep that too. Got to sweep the Marlins. Got to sweep the Pirates. Come on. You got to sweep this series, and you have to win the game when you're up twice late. You had a 6-1 lead in this game, and Hart looked pretty good to that point. You had a 6-run lead, a 6-1 lead. A 1-0 lead, you give it right back. A 6-1 lead, you give the 5 right back, and then you take the 8-7 lead, and then you give the 3 right back. So every time they took a lead, they gave them right back to the Marlins today. And then they didn't deserve to win this game, but I still think they have a big hole in that bullpen. They have a big hole in the lefty starter and a huge hole in left field. Hayward's done. Toast, baby. Get him out of here. Get him out. Lockridge, not a starter. Tyler Wade, not a starter. Sorry. It's Major League Baseball, man. It's Darwinism. It is, and life should be. The world should be Darwinism. If you're strong enough, you survive. If you're not, you don't. And that's Major League Baseball. If you're good enough, you stick. If you don't, you're out. Gone. Adios. See ya. Hayward, you've been around long enough to get it. How many years can you hit 200 and stick around? Adios. This is a team that wants to win a championship. You need to make a big splash. You are not winning anything as constituted right now. With this rotation, this bullpen, and this lineup, you are not beating the Dodgers. You are not winning anything in the National League, let alone the World Series. And that's what this team is built for. That window to win the World Championship that we've never won. To win the World Championship that we've never won. 84, 98, go to the World Series. Tigers beat, Yankees beat you, and that's it. Now you're in that window. Everyone loves Schilt and Ruben Niebla. They say they're a great combo. Everyone loves this team, Tati and Manny and all these guys, but I'm just real. The rose-colored glasses are gone. There's no 3 or 4 hole hitter. When Jackson Merrill goes from the 4th to the 27th between homers, sorry. Manny has what, 5 homers, 6 maybe? I don't know, 7 tops? These are not 3-4 hitters. They don't have a left fielder. They don't have a natural first baseman, although Arise has been playing pretty well there, but you could move him back to second and get a big-time first baseman in there. Sorry to Cronenworth. Look, but he's not some superstar, right? Everybody's expendable other than Fernando and probably Manny. King and Cease, you're not going to move them when you're still near the top of the standings, even though you're not going to be able to keep both next year. I thought maybe for a while they might make a move on Alcantara, but yeah, he's been, coming off the Tommy John, been bad this year. Skeens is the guy you really want, but everyone wants Skeens. What are the Dodgers going to throw at him? What are the Yankees going to throw at him if they trade Skeens? You're not going to get them, I don't think. Your farm system doesn't have the resources anymore. You trade them all away, and you don't even bring back Tanner Scott. Luckily, you got Adam here back, and you got Suarez, but they've been, up and down. And you have a lack of lefties on this team, whether it be in the rotation, whether it be in the bullpen. All right, I got to hit the break. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Some words from one of our great sponsors, then the turning point, then the star of the game, then we look ahead to Pittsburgh. Padres Postcast and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, your pods, every single day. And I get to tell you about Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go, man? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, gas lamp, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. I can drive around the corner, you know what I'm saying? All in one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, even plan long-term goals. It's easy to collab with your partner. Smoother than ever, you can track shared expenses and personal accounts, even stay on the same page without stress, setting goals, that whole thing right there. So what are you waiting for? Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's half, baby. monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year with Monarch Money on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team, that'd be yours every day. Stand up for your rights. Look at that audience surging. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Yeah, we're live on YouTube, Locked On Padres Podcast channel. We are live on YouTube, and we are on Roku. Every single show, OTT, yeah, you know me. over-the-top television, free on Roku and free wherever you get your podcasts. I mean, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple, iHeart, you name it, we there, and we be free, baby. Javi is back, too, with Locked On Padres podcast. He was out for a while with a sore throat. He is back again. By the way, send your questions to us to the mailbag. You know what I'm saying? And smash that subscribe, hit the bell so you get alerted when we come your way with more content. And come on into the chat, the comments, and say what up to your boy. Blown leads, the theme today for the Padres. Just a joke of a game from the pitching staff, from Kyle Hart, who they just needed a guy to eat innings. And he did a good job for a while. Give him that. But he blew it, obviously. And then, you get the homer on the first hitter coming in out of the bullpen. And that's brutal as well. So the Padres do not pick up the sweep. And by the way, in the bottom of the ninth inning, you're down 2. But you had Fernando, Luis Ariz, and Manny. Why you popping out along the first base line in foul territory to end the game? But, hey, Fauché pitched really well for Miami. And think they had Tanner Scott last year. They had Luis Ariz. They had Jazz Chisholm. They had a good team a couple years ago, made the playoffs, as you know. Or maybe you don't know. And if you don't know, now you know. No. So Agustin Ramirez, the first 4-hit game of his career, including a homer and a 2-run single that put them ahead. Marlins beat the Padres 10-8. He was 4 for 5, 4 RBI, 2 runs scored. Eric Wagaman, Otto Lopez, 3 hits each. Lopez hit a 3-run homer earlier in the game. Javier Sanoja hit 2 doubles. You know what I'm saying? 2 innings for the win for Ronnie Henriquez. Calvin Fauché with the save, his 3rd. He pitched the 9th. Sandy Alcantara lasted 4 innings, 6 runs. He had lost his previous 7 starts. Should have been 8. They were up 6-1 for crying out loud. Heart attack. You're giving me a heart attack straight through the heart. And you're to blame. Send Kyle back down to the minor leagues. Adam, 5-1, took the loss after the Padres blew a 5-run lead a day after they rallied from a 6-run deficit. You know what I'm saying? 5-run 5th for the Marlins, and then the Padres had scored 5 in the bottom of the 4th for a 6-1 lead. Anything you could do, I could do better. Gavin Sheets drove in 3. He hit the homer, to give them an 8-7 lead. 2-run homer in the 7th, and then in the 8th, nothing doing right there. So he hits Adam hits Connor Norby in the head with an 87-mile-an-hour changeup. He was fine. I mean, but just Adam's been struggling with his control. Suarez been struggling, and just not right. And you got the Marlins have the Giants coming in to Miami, and then the Giants come here after that. But the Pirates come to town on Friday. They're off tomorrow, the Padres. You got Nick Pivetta, 5-2, 2.72 against the Pirates. Mitch Keller, who's 1-6. Imagine being 1-6 with a 3.66. No run support. The Pirates can't hit. Paul Skeens, you know what I mean? How long until he's just sick of being there, man? And look who you're going to bring in. I love Stowers. I love Sanchez. You got to bring in a hitter. The message boards are up. Javi's on it every day. You know what I mean? Just keep on coming back for that from him. We're here to break down this game. All right, couple things to do and a short time to do it in. What do you say we get cracking? Let's roll.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Yeah, the Padres had the lead 8-7 going into the top of the 8th inning after back and forth and back. You had a 6-1 lead. You had an 8-7 lead. But the Marlins scored 3 times in the 8th inning, and it was a 2-run single for Agustin Ramirez, who had 4 hits today. But earlier in the game, Otto Lopez with a 3-run homer, Sanchez with another big hit today. They could not hold a lead in this game. They had a 1-0 lead, they had a 6-1 lead, and they had an 8-7 lead. Lost 3 leads in this game. 3 leads, and they blew it. But the final time, they gave up 3 runs. The bullpen did in the 8th inning, and they had been really good lately. But again, they're beating up on the Rockies, beating up on the Marlins. I mean, it just lately they haven't beaten any good teams. And I'm telling you, this team is not good enough as constructed to win anything. And at first I'm questioning why Schilt would take Adam out there in that position late in the game, and he just didn't have it. And he wasn't getting anybody out. He's hitting guys. His control's wild. He's all over the place, hitting a guy in the head. They make the error on the fielder's choice. Manny not helping him there. But, Sheets goes 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a couple of runs scored. Big game, 2 for 4 for Bogarts. 1 for 3 with a couple RBIs for Cronenworth, Fernando 0 for 4. Again, he's really been struggling, man. Had the Oppo homer yesterday, but that has not been the norm. Diaz was 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored as well. But Ramirez 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs scored for Miami. Wagaman 3 for 5 with a run. Lopez 3 for 5, the 3-run homer and the run scored. Just 2 for 4, 2 runs scored for Sanoja. 1 for 4 with 2 runs scored for Sanchez. just a tough one for the Padres all along. So the 3 runs scored by the Marlins in the 8th inning, the difference in the game, that is your turning point. Ramirez knocked in Norby and Mesa Jr., or rather Norby and Sanchez, and Mesa Jr. went to second, scored on Wagaman's double to left, and they threw him out at home. The relay from Xander Bogaerts got him there, but the Padres gave up a run on a Jason Adam wild pitch. Another run came around when he hit a guy. Just a rough day for the pitching staff of the Padres. We'll get to the box score in a minute as we bring you next up on your Padres Postcast.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And there he is, Agustin Ramirez, 4 for 5. Big game today. Had the 2-run single in the 8th inning, but just a nasty player. He's really good, man, and a nice job all the way across the board for him. And the leadoff hitter for the Marlins had the homer today, had the 2-run single as well. I mean, 4 for 5 with 4 RBI in the leadoff spot. And you look at Fernando, 0 for 4 with a walk. And he got badly outplayed by Ramirez in the leadoff spot today. And Fernando DH took a day off from right field, and Tyler Wade went out there, but just couldn't get it going. The pitchers today for the Padres, they couldn't just hold a lead, man. Again, 1-0 in the second, turns into 1-1 top of the third. 6-1 after a 5-run fourth, turns into, you got it, 6-6 after that. Then the Marlins take a 1-run lead, 7-6 in the 7th on the wild pitch from Adam. And then the Padres come right back with Gavin Sheets' 2-run shot in the 7th, 8-7. You're thinking, hey, Adam Suarez, wrap. Nope, leaves Adam in. 3-run inning in the 8th for the Marlins, and they win it 10-8 the final. 13 hits for Miami, 9 for San Diego, and each team commits an error. Manny with the big one in the 8th inning where he couldn't handle that throw, and everybody's safe on the fielding error by Manny Machado. Look at these numbers exploding. Come on in and smash that subscribe so you join the family. We are family. I mean, we got the Pirates coming in. The Willie Stargell, 19 Willie Stargell. Remember Pops? No, you might be a little young for that, especially if you're watching Javi's show. I don't know if Javi knows who Willie Stargell is. He might. He's a great baseball guy, but man, oh man, I'm getting a little long in the tooth, and my teeth aren't getting any longer. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, GRIES, at Jim Gies _. We're free on YouTube, free wherever you listen to your podcast, and free on Roku, down with OTT. Yeah, you know me. But our star of the game is definitely Ramirez. Had a big one today for the Padres. It was Gavin Sheets, a 2-run homer, had the 3 ribs, and the actual bullpen was terrible today. But I'm looking at everybody here, and I already told you their numbers offensively. But, man, and Henriquez and Alcantara were not good today for the Marlins, even though Henriquez got the win. Fauché got the save. But Kyle Hart, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, a strikeout, 57 pitches, could not make it through the 5th inning, and that really hurt them. Morgan came in, gave up the homer, gave up the earned run. He was out after an inning. Matsui, 2/3 of an inning, 1 earned run. Adam, 3 hits, no earned runs, but because, you know what I mean, he scored a wild pitch and then an error on Manny, but he melted down. And then Peralta, the earned run and the 2 hits, and just not good. 13 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, and, just only 5 strikeouts today for the Padres pitching staff, and, just not getting it done. The hitters weren't getting it done, and now the pitchers are not getting it done. You got the Pirates coming in town on Friday, and that's going to be interesting, right? Because you missed Paul Skeens, and you played the Pirates already in Pittsburgh, missed him there, now you're going to miss him here too. Hey, nobody's going to be complaining when you miss Paul Skeens, but you'd love to see Skeens miss the flight on the way back to Pittsburgh, traded to the Padres, and would that make them the favorite to win the World Series? I say no, but, man, you put Skeens with King and Cease. I don't know. You probably have to give up Cease in that deal. But I just don't know. I mean, it's really tough right now to see. And I just don't think it's going to be, you know what I mean? I just don't think it's going to be an easy road for this team as constructed. And I think they're going to fade out of the race pretty quickly if they don't make moves. And I think drastic moves. I think you go all in right now. And you make the moves now. You go all in now because this is your window. And if you don't beat the Dodgers now, they're going to keep spending money like they have it coming out of their buttholes and paying off people like Ohtani when he's 75 years old. He'll be making the rest of his contract. So if you want to win, you have to win now. You have to just cowboy up and make these moves. You have to bring in a left fielder who can hit with power. You need a lefty in the rotation, and for God's sake, some help in the bullpen. So if you do not make these moves right now, hey, I'm sorry, Padre fans, but you are not beating the Dodgers. You might not even make the playoffs. I'm just saying they should listen to me. I don't work for the team. We don't get tickets. We don't get press passes. We don't get anything from the Padres. And what you get from us, unbiased opinions. Those guys who work for the teams, nothing against them. They tell you what the team wants them to tell you. And if they tell you too much, they get in trouble for it. We don't have any of those things holding us back, holding us up here with the Locked On Podcast Network, which is a big part of our appeal because we give you the truth because nobody speaks their mind anymore. And you work for the team, you're threatened within an inch of your job. And, oh, this team doesn't need to make any moves. They're fine. BS, bro. BS. They need moves, and they need to make big moves, and they need to make them now. Now. Beat those other teams to the punch like you did for Arise last year when you traded in May. Do something now. Now. You're not winning jack squat as constructed. You're just not. The bullpen has had holes lately. It's not as good as you think it is. Suarez and Adams struggling, man. No Tanner Scott. It happens, ups and downs, ebbs and flows. But do you feel the same way about the bullpen as you did a month ago? If you say yes, you're lying. You're lying. And after these two prolonged offensive slumps, one of them with all the injuries, one without, come on. You're not winning anything as constructed, and I'm sorry. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, GRIES. We got to wrap it up here. We're a little long today. We got used to doing longer shows with Javi out, but check him out day in and day out with your Locked On Padres podcast, YouTube, Roku, wherever you listen to your podcast as well, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. Myself with the postcast day in and day out. And then if you're looking for something more, and I do believe you should be, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. It's local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. 10-8 the final. The Marlins come back 3 times on the Padres. Kyle Hart in the bullpen meltdown. No other way to say it. Yeah, it's not a good one today. You could have had the sweep. This team stinks. You could have had them doing a fire sale, leaving town, maybe end up with a Sanchez before they leave. But, man, you couldn't get Ramirez out. Had trouble with Sanchez the whole series, and the bullpen had been magnificent all weekend, and they just imploded today. And at the end, it was Adam. You know, he's your setup guy. He'd be a closer on almost every other team, and he has not been good control-wise the way that he should be. You know, you're being a little hard on him if you think he's going to be perfect, but he could be a lot better. And this Marlins team just came in here and got a big win in this game. It should have been a sweep. You got the lead, 6 outs left, and you cannot get it done against a minor league team. That is what it is, and now you got another minor league team, -1 player, coming in, and that one player, you're not going to see him because he ain't pitching. So you should sweep this series. It starts a stretch of 26 games in 27 days. Look, this team has made up right now. You're going to play the Giants a bunch of times in June. You're going to play the Dodgers a bunch of time in June, and you're going to play the Diamondbacks in June, and the Brewers, all really good teams. I am like literally curled up in a ball in the corner, shuddering to think what's going to happen to the Padres in the month of June. I don't think it's going to be good unless they make a couple of moves. They need a power hitter in the middle of the lineup who drives in a lot of runs and hits homers. They need a lefty in the bullpen, a dominant lights-out lefty in the bullpen, and they need a lefty starter. I don't think it's easy to get either one of those, the pitchers, lefties especially. And now you're talking about who you're going to bring in for that left field spot. Sanchez, Stowers, other guys have come up. Teams like the White Sox and the Pirates looking to dump people. But who knows, man? But you are not beating anybody as constituted. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll be back Friday, 6:40 first pitch after the game. Nick Pivetta going to try to get it back on track, 5-2 with 2.72. Been great this year for the Padres at a $4.5 million bargain that goes up by about $10 million next year. But what a bargain, man. Gavin goes deep. The bullpen blows it. 6-1 lead. Hard attacked. And bang, Pittsburgh Friday through Sunday. No sweep till Petco. You know what I'm saying? But we will be here every day with Padres Podcast with Javier Reyes and myself, the postcast after every game. Till next time, Padre fan, thank you so much for being here. As always, keep your game tight and your mind right, San Diego. And thank you for watching or listening to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Keep your game tight and your mind right. So nice, I said it twice.